All right, and we are live, man. So the Pistons, we just took an L to the Brooklyn Nets, but I wanted to do another stream. We did one on Friday in the game against the New Orleans Pelicans, and tonight we're going to do another stream talking about this game against the Brooklyn Nets. So as always, I took notes, and I'm basically going to give you guys the cliff notes of this game if you didn't watch or if you only about to go look at the highlights. I'm basically going to give you guys my quick thoughts for like the first 5 or so minutes, and then I'm going to get into the comments and start reading out everybody in the chat. So the first note that I really took down that was a major thing for me tonight is just that tonight was a really fun game. So far in these past few games where the Pistons have been losing, some of the games have been blowouts, some of the games, well, not some, most of the games, it'll be close in the first half, but then we go to halftime and then we come out and then we just come out flat. So that's usually how it goes for the Pistons. But tonight, overall, I feel like it was a really, really fun game. One of the funnest games we have so far this season. And then after that, I said with no Jeremy Grant, tonight the flow of the offense was just different. I say I call it Blake ball every time Grant is in the game because you give Jeremy Grant the ball and he just goes down there in the post, slows down the offense. But that wasn't the case tonight. Tonight the offense was flowing, the ball was moving around, and just without Grant, the flow of the offense was much better. So that's another note that I took from tonight. Shots began to fall for a lot of guys. Saban Lee shockingly hit a few 3-pointers. Frank Jackson, he had a really good night from shooting beyond the 3-point land. So overall, shots fell for us tonight. Cade Cunningham, he was wheeling and dealing in the first and second quarter, but something that kind of, irritated me tonight was just the turnovers, man. Cade Cunningham, it's been an issue for him so far in his career. And again, tonight, just a turnover machine for the Pistons. And offensively, he was really, really good. Defensively, he was good. He had a few passes that were solid as well, but the turnovers from Cade Cunningham really did kill us tonight. And the next note that I took was Frank Jackson in the second quarter. He came in and gave us good production, hit a lot of 3-pointers. Saban Lee, the third quarter was the quarter for Saban Lee. So those two guys off the bench really came in and gave us a lot of production. Hamidou Diallo and Ronnie Magruder, both of those guys came in and got a lot of rebounds. So those two off the bench and just overall the bench mob for us really did keep us in this game until the fourth quarter happened. And I put Ronnie Magruder, he got in over Pickett, which is kind of, if you ask me, but Magruder did play good tonight. So I guess Dwayne Casey made the proper decision to put Magruder over Pickett. And then no Corey Joseph tonight, which is always going to be good to see. So Dwayne Casey, I'm happy that he did that. And, Casey, overall, I guess the only issue that I have is that we just came out flat in the fourth quarter. But I guess you can't really blame that on him per se tonight because the Pistons, I don't want to say they gave up, but just, shots weren't falling, turnover after turnover after turnover, and then we just lost it in the end. So that was basically everything on our end. And then Kevin Durant, we know he had 51 points tonight. LaMarcus Aldridge, Cam Thomas, Patty Mills, the Nets, they are a good team. They are currently ranked number 1 in the Eastern Conference. So good game for them. And just the turnovers for the Pistons just killed us tonight, man. It really, really did kill us. And then the last note that I took before I get to the comments is that I really love that we have a swag cam here in Detroit. I think that's funny every time they use that. But let's get into the comments. Let's get into everything that y'all took from this game. Let me see. Man, Dave Bing is out of touch. Said Cade is not a guy you build around. Needs a drug test. Yeah, so thankfully for me tonight, I wasn't watching the Detroit Pistons broadcast with George Blaha. I was watching the broadcast with the Brooklyn Nets, so I didn't get to hear Dave Bing's take, but I did see it on Twitter, and then I did eventually hear it after the game, a few minutes actually before I started the stream. And I basically disagree with that. Cade Cunningham, if anything, he's like the perfect player that you would want to build around because he literally does everything. Like he's an overall, all-around good player. So if anything, he is the perfect player to build around. And then he also said that he sees Cade becoming an all-star. And for me, at least, I say, yes, he will become an all-star, but not just that. I'm going to go a step further and say that Cade Cunningham can get to all-NBA one day. So Dave Bing, Detroit Pistons legend, NBA legend, but I disagree with what he was saying. And I got the stats on their screen right quick. I'm going to leave that up there for a little minute. Cade 30 ball. I mean, Kevin Durant had 51, so that's not really saying much. I just want to cry. I think that's what you meant. Yeah, cry. I know it's tough, man. It's tough. I expected the Pistons to lose it after halftime, but they lost it in the fourth quarter, which kind of hurt even more. December 15th, almost here. Yep, it is December 12th. So 3 days from now, we could finally, possibly see some trades for a lot of guys around the league and possibly on our Pistons team. I know that Corey Joseph will be up. I believe Frank Jackson and Hamidou Diallo as well. Those guys, I believe, can be traded on the 15th. So possibly some moves could be coming really, really soon for the Pistons. KD needs to be MVP, and I predicted he was going to drop 50 before the game, especially since we didn't have Grant. And yeah, you also got to think that they didn't have James Harden on the Brooklyn Nets, so that added more shot volume for Kevin Durant. So a 51-point game for him is just crazy, man, just crazy. Wow, Kojo plays every game that I didn't even notice he got in. Yeah, Corey Joseph wasn't there tonight, which is really, really good, man. I wish, Casey would sit him a lot more and, have Saban Lee go out there. Like, if Saban Lee is going to be on the main roster, at least play him. Like, that's why I wanted him in the G League. That's because, when he was on the main roster, he wasn't getting minutes. So I was like, if he's going to be on the main roster, what's the purpose of him being here if he's not going to get minutes? So just send him down there to the G League. But thankfully tonight, Casey decided not to go with Corey Joseph, and we got to see a lot of Saban Lee, and he really, really impressed me tonight. So good game from him. I'm disappointed Diallo didn't get in the entire fourth quarter. He was our energy guy the whole game. I'm disappointed with that as well. But, at the same time, even if he would have gotten in, I don't think it would have changed much in the fourth quarter just because of the simple fact that guys can't take care of the basketball, man. Like, every single play, it felt like it was just a turnover, another turnover, another turnover. Like, every time someone touched the ball tonight in the fourth quarter, it was just a turnover. And if they put up a shot, it would be missed. Or if they tried to lay the ball up, they would miss a layup as well. So, even if Diallo got in, I still think we would have took the L in the fourth quarter. But I do wish we could have got to see Diallo. Casey is trash at coaching. I mean, tonight I'm not going to go too hard on Casey because he sat Corey Joseph, okay? And if he decides to do that, then you got to win with me. And then, I wish we could have got to see Jamarco Pickett. He decided to go with Rodney McGruder, which typically I would be against, but tonight Rodney McGruder played well. He contributed to the rebounding for us tonight. So when he got in the second quarter. So Casey, I'm not going to go too hard on him. Too many turnovers from Cade. Yeah, absolutely, man. Cade's turnovers, and just as a team tonight, just could not take care of the basketball. Saban Lee with quality minutes. Yep. Is that my dog barking? So, nah. What do you think our order of priorities should be for shot attempts while Grant's gone? What do you mean, like, which player do I believe should get like the most shot attempts? If that's what you're asking me, then I would say that what's his name? Cade is number one for shot volume and shot attempts. Bay is very disappointing lately. I expecting more with Grant. Oh yeah, Sadiq Bey, he was killing me tonight, man. So many shots that he attempted and just nothing will fall for him. And I love Sadiq Bey. I hope he can get over this eventually, but right now, he is in one of the worst sophomore slumps I've ever seen. Just a shot cannot fall for him, man. No shots will fall for Sadiq Bey, unfortunately, man. So, I'm disappointed with that as well, bro. I was hoping that Livers would play a little. Yeah, actually, before the game, I got a notification on my phone, which basically said that Jamarco Pickett was called up and he would be active for this game. But, what's his name? Isaiah Livers, he got called up as well, but he was inactive. And I don't know the particular reason for that, but he was there, just wasn't active to play. So coming into this game, well, not coming in, but once you got to the game, you should have, expected that to happen. Can we call Killian a bust, ? No, Killian Hayes, he's not a bust. He's just right now inconsistent on the offensive end of the floor and just struggles really to hit consistent shots from the three-point line because he attempts a lot of three-pointers. And I guess he does attempt a fair share of floaters, but just overall his shots doesn't really go in often. But still, he's giving us defense. He's still passing the ball fairly well. So I still like Killian Hayes. I feel like if anybody, he's had the most improved season so far because he's improved more than Sadiq Bey. He's improved more than Isaiah Stewart. So you have that for him, but just offensive consistency is a really big problem for him. So I'm not going to call him a bust. He just needs to develop more consistently. He needs to get more consistent, on the offensive end of the floor. Is Luka hurt? Hasn't been playing much. No, Trophy Tempest. Luka Garza isn't hurt. The Pistons are just deciding not to play him right now, which is it is what it is. With Jeremy Grant going down, I can't expect to see him pretty soon in the future. They just did not decide to go with him tonight. So I do expect to see him though. If they were willing to play Saban Lee, if they were willing to play Rodney Magruder, which are guys who typically don't get in too often, I'm sure that we will see Luka Garza pretty soon. Bay needs to take more mid-range shots. He should prioritize those over trying to finish at the rim because he is so bad around the rim. Yeah, man. It's like he's every time Bay gets the ball, it's like he settles for shots. Like if he gets it at the 3-point line, he'll just settle for a 3. He doesn't try to attack to the hole and try to score inside. He'll just shoot it from there. And then when he's inside, like trying to score layups, most of the time he misses his layups, which is frustrating. So just overall, man, Saddiq Bey, he's just in a really, really bad sophomore slump. One of the worst sophomore slumps I've ever seen, man. It's tough, bro. It really is. Is it me or is Isaiah Stewart a lot less aggressive since the LeBron brush up? My only reasoning is he's just trying to stay on the floor and out of foul trouble. Well, Isaiah Stewart, he's never really been like the most aggressive guy, so I don't really know what you mean by that. But I would say that how he played tonight, he was battling with LaMarcus Aldridge, which is cool to see those two guys down low in the post. I would say that LaMarcus, he got the better of Isaiah Stewart tonight, but it was cool to see Isaiah Stewart battling with one of the top big men in the NBA. Well, he's not one of the top big men in the NBA, but at least a really, really good mid-range shooter. And that's something that I would wish that Isaiah Stewart could add to his game is a mid-range shot, man, because tonight he attempted, I believe, 2 of them, and both of those shots were off by a pretty wide margin. So, I wish he could kind of patent his game a little bit offensively for someone like LaMarcus Aldridge. But just overall tonight, man, Isaiah Stewart, it was a okay game for him, I would say. Miles Turner and Domantas Sabonis sure can be used about now. No, well, it's not that they can't be used. It's just, trading for those 2 guys is just it's just not realistic for us right now. Because if we were to trade for Miles Turner, we would have to give up Grant. We'll probably have to give up a pick. We'll probably have to give up Saddiq Bey and possibly another young player. Because you have to think about the Indiana Pacers. Right now, they said that they're heading into a rebuild, which is the same situation that the Pistons are in right now. And, if we're trying to make a trade, right, we're not going to go out there and try to get someone like Julius Randle. No, we're going to go out there. We want a young player like Marvin Bagley, for example, or we want a first or a second round pick. So, similar to the Indiana Pacers, they're in a similar situation to the Pistons now. I looked at their record. I think they're like 7-20 or something like that. They're like their record is just as bad as the Pistons. So both teams are in similar situations and they want the same thing. And I'm pretty sure that they do not want Grant on their team right now. And not just Grant, but the players that we have to offer. They will want them, but it wouldn't be beneficial for the Pistons. I'm happy we have Cade. I feel bad for Pelicans fans because of their number 1 pick, Zion. Do you think we should go after Moses Brown? I mean, again, when it comes to going after players on other teams, like what will we have to give up? Because the young core that we have right now, I understand with all the losing and inconsistency that we have as a team, but I don't want to give up on Saddiq Bey. I don't want to give up on Isaiah Stewart, Killian Hayes. Like I don't want to give up on these guys generally. Frank Jackson, Hamidou Diallo. Most of these guys on this team, I like them overall. I really, really do, and I don't want to give up on them right now. So when it comes to going after another player on another team, what will we have to give up for them? That's my main question. And that's why, I tend to not really throw out too many trade scenarios like that because it can get really messy when it comes to, what other teams would want from the Pistons. Is Cade going to crack 30 this season? Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. I really do think he will, especially with Grant being out and his shot volume will eventually increase to an even higher level than it was tonight. So I do expect to see Cade Cunningham get to 30 eventually. But let's look at these stats real quickly. Isaiah Stewart, 40 minutes, 10 rebounds, 1 assist, and 9 points. Cade Cunningham, 36 minutes, 8 rebounds, 5 points, and 5 assists and 26 points. So look at that right there. I do believe like he's really, really close, man. I think what is his career high? 27, 28? I don't remember, but I do believe that very, very soon he will get to the point where he can get consistent 30-point ball games. Luka need to be playing, not Trey Lyles. They're both just terrible defensively, but Trey isn't giving us anything, and he's a vet. Yeah, I can agree with that because it is frustrating to see Trey Lyles out there because it just looks really really weird because he's like 6'8", 6'7". Ooh, excuse me, 6'7", 6'8", something like that, and it just looks weird out there. Seeing him be our center on a few plays. So I could agree that take away someone like Trey Lyles minutes. How many minutes did he get tonight? He finished with 8 minutes on the night. So yeah, take that away from him. Give 8 minutes to Luka Garza. I think most Pistons fans will be pretty happy with us doing that. I know we tanking, but for the love of God, I hope we don't break the losing record. Actually, where did I take that note at? Let me see. I took an important note. According to the broadcasters, I listened to the Brooklyn Nets broadcasters, so I don't know if this is necessarily true or not, but according to the broadcasters, the Detroit Pistons are on the worst 25 game start in franchise history. So if that is true, man, that's really really bad. Saying that we're historically bad, which is shocking because I know the Pistons have had some bad teams before. Like I remember the Greg Monroe years, early Andre Drummond, rookie Andre Drummond year. The Pistons has had some bad teams in the past, and before Isaiah Thomas, I remember I watched the 30 for 30 documentary on the Bad Boy Pistons, and before Isaiah Thomas got there, the Pistons were terrible, man. So it's kind of shocking to hear that the Pistons have started the worst. It's the worst 25 game start in franchise history. I don't know if that's true or not, but if it is, that is absolutely crazy, man, and it's kind of unbelievable. Um, Everyone get the likes up, yeah, man. I would really, really appreciate that. If you guys like the video, it will push it out in the algorithm and possibly get more Pistons fans to see this. After losing Grant, I'd say we're a lock for a top 4 pick. Who's your top 4 for draft? Um, Okay, so the first thing that you said, with the Pistons being, basically a lock for a top 4 pick now, I could basically agree with that. I think we could, like, if we have the number 1 projected odds, I think the farthest that we could fall back to would be 6. And looking at the draft class right now, there are a lot of guys at the top who I'm really, really keeping my eye on. I made videos in the past already about Paolo. I did one about Jalen a few days ago. I got to get a video out on Chet. So this draft is really, really solid at the top, similar to how this previous draft was with, Scotty Barnes, Cade Cunningham, Evan Mobley. This is another good draft class coming in. So with us getting another top pick, it's going to be really, really good for our Pistons. Have you talked about Saddiq Bey struggling right now? Yeah. If you go back a little bit in the stream, I talked about Saddiq Bey a little bit already. Let me look at his stats again. Saddiq Bey, 26 minutes tonight, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 points on the night for Saddiq Bey. So yeah, man, it's really, really rough for him right now. One of the worst sophomore slumps I've ever seen before. His shots start falling. He's settling for shots. He gets the ball at the 3-point line and he'll just throw it up and doesn't even attempt to really drive to the hole like that. And even if he does drive to the hole, he's missing a easy layup. So it's really, really tough for him right now, man. Really, really tough. For everyone calling Killian a bust, what were your expectations? Killian was a project with potential to be a floor general with above average defense. Are we not saying that? Exactly, man. If anything, Killian Hayes has impressed me the most out of all of our, guys that we took from the draft last year. Because in my personal opinion, I feel like he's shown the most improvement so far. Now, he did re-injure that thumb tonight. Well, I don't know if that was the same thumb, but it appeared that he injured one of his thumbs or one of his hands, which is kind of concerning because if Killian Hayes goes down with another injury, that will really hurt his development, man. So I'm hoping that we don't see that. But I can agree with you, Marvin, that for me at least, my expectations were kind of, I don't want to say low, but I expected him to be what he is right now. And I've been pleased, if anything, by some of the things that he's done so far this season. Bryce Scott. I'd sit Trey Lyles for Pickett right now and see what he can provide and build him up. I hope we keep Joseph out the rotation, but the effort through the first 3 quarters fire. Yeah, I couldn't agree with basically everything that you said, man. Pickett, he was killing it in the G League. If you don't count Saban Lee, Jamarco Pickett was probably the best G League player that we had down there so far this season for them. And then you said, I hope we keep Corey Joseph off the lineup. Absolutely, man. I don't really want to see him in the rotation if we're going to have Saban Lee on the main roster. So can we please continue to do that, Dwayne Casey? And then, yeah, the effort for the first 3 quarters was there. But, coming into that fourth, we just fell flat, kept on turning the ball over. Shots weren't falling, missed wide open layups. It was just a rough fourth quarter for us, and we came out flat. So, yeah. Saban, when he's confident, is a steal, and Diallo played with heart. Yep, man. Absolutely. Killian might have to go if Saban Lee develops a three. Nah, we don't have to go that far with it. As much as I love Saban and liked how he plays tonight, even if he ever does, develop and get better than Killian Hayes, you should still keep Killian Hayes on the roster. I think Troy Weaver had us on a really good trajectory, but he probably didn't imagine Bay regressing. Well, I don't even. It's not even like. I guess it is technically regressing. It is regressing for City Bay, and this whole team as a whole, just this season, has been a disappointment. But I still believe in the future of this team, and I still believe that this team, especially with Blake Griffin's money being up this year, and we're going to have a top 5 pick possibly. If we add someone in the draft like a Chet or a Paulo or Jalen or any of these top guys in the draft, and we could sign someone in free agency with Blake Griffin's money, I do believe that next year the trajectory should be back, on track. So I know that Troy Weaver, he's probably kind of, shook it a little bit by how we're playing right now. But at the end of the day, this team still does have a bright future. Saban Lee is a problem as far as his speed. Oh yeah, Saban Lee. I mean, you guys can even go back and look at his Vanderbilt tape when coming out of college at Vanderbilt University. His speed for Saban Lee, he was killing those guys down there in the G League, doing the same thing, just blowing right past his defenders. And tonight he showed it off, man. Showed off that speed. Josh Jackson and Bay went missing this game. A trade would be ideal to shake some stuff up, but they may as well keep the roster and play through the season the best they can and decide afterward. Josh and Bay went missing. I mean, for Josh Jackson, I feel like one of the reasons why he's not really, playing well right now is just because he can't get into a rhythm. I don't know, I don't have the particular stats in front of me, but for these past few games, he's kind of been replaced by Hamidou Diallo. Most of the minutes that Diallo was getting, those were Josh Jackson's minutes, early on in the season. So, without him getting many minutes like that, it's kind of hard for him to, get into a rhythm right now. Let me actually put the stats back on the screen for you guys. Where is it at? Where is he at? Josh Jackson. There we go. So 12 minutes tonight, which is compared to Hamidou Diallo's 20 minutes. So it's hard for him to, kind of get into a rhythm when he's not getting that many minutes right now. So that's why I feel like he's been struggling recently. And then, I already spoke on Sadiq Bey. And then you said a trade would be ideal to shake some stuff up. As I said earlier, it would depend who we trade and, what we could get for them. Are we trading Corey Joseph or are we trading, Frank Jackson? That type of question. Killian and a healthy Grant would be a great trade. No, I don't want to do that, man. I don't want to do that. Killian is injury prone, and I'm tired of seeing that bum. I disagree with you saying I'm tired of seeing that bum, but it is kind of starting to feel like he is kind of injury prone. Obviously last year missing most of the season. Excuse me. Due to that injury, and then this season, he missed a few games ago due to that thumb injury. Tonight, it looks like he re-injured one of his hands, possibly another thumb injury. And then even back, I think it was it the summer league or was it training camp where he had I forget where, it might have been preseason. I don't remember it, but before the season started, Killian Hayes had another injury. So, yeah, man, it is kind of starting to feel like he is injury prone. But I just hope he can get healthy, man. I really, really do. Tanking. Yeah, as I said in my previous video, the tank season has officially begun without Grant and without Kelly Olynyk already. Saban Lee should be getting Killian's minutes. They sent the wrong point guard to the G League. How many minutes did Saban Lee get tonight? Saban Lee, he got, where is he at? Saban Lee, 28 minutes. So actually, no, you don't even, because he got more minutes than Killian tonight. So you shouldn't even be complaining like that. Man, I wanted to see Cade hit 30 tonight. He'll get it eventually, bro. He will. It's gonna happen soon. I can feel it in my bones, and especially with us playing. I think we play the Houston Rockets next Thursday. I think I don't remember what day it is, but we play the Houston Rockets really, really soon. So hopefully in that game he could hit 30 points for the first time in his career. I didn't need Killian or Grant this game. Yeah, you didn't need Killian Hayes to perform at an extremely high level tonight when you have a bench mob of Saban Lee and Frank Jackson, putting in all the work. Two things were apparent. Number one, this team is better playing through Cade instead of ISO Grant ball. Number two, time to bring Killian off the bench or trade him. Saban is the better player and Killian is not producing. Okay, so let me get to the first thing that you said. Yes, I can agree that without Grant, just the offense overall, it just flows much better, man. Like with like that, like as you said, man, the isolation plays every single time Grant's get the ball, he just isolates every single time, and he doesn't like to pass it as well. So the offense flow much better. And then as far as bringing Killian Hayes off the bench, that's just a no go for me right now. I don't think that would be smart, and it wouldn't be beneficial for the development of Killian Hayes. But with this possible re-injury of his hand or his thumb, we could see a situation where Hayes goes down, and then we see Saben Lee possibly in the starting lineup. So maybe we see that soon. We got killed by KD. Can't be mad, but I am sick and tired of Killian. Actually, let me pull up the Brooklyn Nets stats for you guys. LaMarcus Aldridge, 25 minutes, 5 rebounds, 1 assist, and 15 points. That's really, really good for him. He won the battle, as I said earlier, against Isaiah Stewart. 41 minutes, 7 points, 9 assists. I said 7 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, and 51 points for Kevin Durant. So basically a triple-double and a 50-ball game. So good game for him, man. He killed us tonight. I don't want to hear that nonsense. Troy Weaver said this team wasn't going to be another losing season when I knew he was lying. This team been trashed for so long, for too long. Some changes need to happen. Well, actually, I don't know if it's true or not, but I actually did read somewhere that Weaver said that this is going to be like a 5-year plan, like a 5-year rebuild plan for the Pistons until we get back to competing at an high level. How in the heck did Dwayne Casey ever start Killian over Derrick Rose? I'd have to go back and rewatch my video on that because I made a video as soon as they decided to start Killian over Derrick Rose. But if I remember correctly, it was Derrick Rose. He wanted to come off the bench, and I have to go back and rewatch my video. But yeah, from what I remember, it was a reasonable reason why they decided to start Killian Hayes over Derrick Rose. I know you not getting no girls. Okay. Saben Lee will eventually start over Killian. Well, that's kind of a hot take, my man. I think that Saben Lee in the future, he can be like a backup point guard, like a 6-man type, but I don't really see him starting over Killian. Let me see. Dwayne Casey should be fired for that alone. New York fans are not legitimate because they are contentious bandwagoners. I mean, heck, there are a few Pistons fans who I've seen in my comment section and on Instagram and a whole lot of Reddit threads who have just jumped off the bandwagon. I saw a dude yesterday that said that he was going to be a fan of the Miami Heat. So, there are a lot of Pistons fans as well who are hopping off the ship. Them bums tanking and nasty. If the NBA lasted 3 quarters, the Pistons would have the best record. I mean, I wouldn't even say that because typically the Pistons only play good for 2 quarters, and then we not give up, but we play poorly in the third and then the fourth. And it was just tonight where we came out really, really good in the third quarter. So typically, even with what you said, I still think the Pistons will lose in the end. Some love for Saben. Happy for him. He may be our 3rd best scoring option now behind Cade and Frank. Yeah, I felt really, really happy for him when he had that up and under play. I think he finished it over Nicholas Claxton. And after that play, he just got up and started smiling, which is really, really cool to see. And you said that he may be our 3rd best scoring option now behind Cade and Frank. Let me pull this up again. Our 3rd best scoring option. Let me get my head off the screen. Our 3rd best scoring option. So it's Cade number 1. Frank number 2. I don't know who our 3rd best scoring option is. Is it Diallo? Is it? I mean, you might be right about Saben, man. You really, really might. I don't know. Isaiah Stewart was more aggressive all over the floor, which caused him to be in foul trouble and into the heads of other bigs. Now he's kind of just picking and choosing when to go. Oh, I thought you were talking about on the offensive end of the floor. When you talked about, Isaiah Stewart not being aggressive, because typically he's not really aggressive offensively. But if you're talking about, just battling with guys like that, as you said, then I guess I can agree that he's not being as aggressive as he has previously been. They need to hurry up and start him because Killian ain't ready for the league yet. Beef Stew is looking like he is going to be a backup center in this league. If we get a top 2 pick next year, we get Chet or Paolo. I mean, that's the hope right now, man, with especially with Grant going down. It's going to be cool to, hopefully get another top pick and, pairing someone along with Cade Cunningham. I believe Cade Cunningham has superstar potential. You're getting him a running mate, possibly Paolo, possibly Chet. And it was going to be really, really good for him, man. You looking kind of like Flight right now. Everybody says be patient with Killian. My patience with him is to let him go to the G League for the rest of the season. Really, man, come on now. When we say be patient with Killian Hayes, like I'm talking about, like, because when people think about, this is the thing about current NBA fans, they give up on players so quickly. Like if you guys remember Lonzo Ball, right? When Lonzo Ball first came into the NBA, he was not looking good. Okay, he had a few moments where he showed some signs of greatness, but overall, Lonzo Ball struggled really early on in his first season in the NBA. And a lot of people call him a bust. And look at him now. He's wheeling and dealing, killing it on the Chicago Bulls. And I feel like that's going to be the same type of thing with Killian Hayes, man. A lot of people are calling him a bust right now. A lot of people are saying trade Killian or send him to the G League. But eventually, a few years from now, from when the Pistons, when we really develop and become a good team, and then Killian Hayes is really going to come into his own, I feel like a lot of people are going to end up eating their words and looking back and being like, dang, I never should have said trade Killian. I never should have said he was a bust. You know what I'm saying? At least that's how I feel. That's how I feel like it's going to happen. Everyone give the post a like while y'all get a chance. Yeah. If anybody's new to the stream, please like this live stream. It helps me out in the algorithm, and it brings possibly brings other Pistons fans to the channel. Killian has a great sports agent because I don't see it. What are y'all talking about? That's the only reason why he's here? Come on now. Speaking of sports agents, actually, shouts out to Sadiq Bey and Cade Cunningham. Those two guys, they have the exact, well, not the same agent. Well, technically they do have the same agent, but they're in the same sports agency company. So shouts out to that. I can't tell you how many times this year I'm yelling at the TV for Casey to call a timeout. He doesn't have a feel for momentum shifts. Man, can I give you a round of applause for that comment, man? I should write that. I'm going to write that down right now and mention that in my next video, bro. Wayne Casey, momentum shifts. Bro, you are absolutely right with that, man. Like, in the fourth quarter, he should have caught that timeout a lot earlier when the Nets went on that run. I think they were on like a 19-1 run at one point. It was but I don't want to go too hard on Casey, as I said earlier. Because he sat Corey Joseph, for that simple fact alone, he's getting a thumbs up in my books. I keep saying that he is not an NBA caliber player at the moment. He needs to go to the G League and gain some confidence. Because we lose so much, forget how great it is that Cade is really that guy. Yeah. Pistons fans, like it's always crazy to me to think about this. It hits, but it doesn't really hit, if you know what I mean. Like, it doesn't feel like we have the number one pick, even though we do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I try to make sure every time I watch Cade Cunningham go out there and ball that I truly, appreciate everything that he's doing out there, because there's another world where Cade Cunningham got drafted to the Houston Rockets. You know what I'm saying? So I try to make sure every time I watch Cade out there wheel and deal, I just appreciate everything that he does, because he is just special, man. He is a different type of player from the rest. He has superstar potential, and I believe he will lead the Pistons to a championship one day. So I always make sure to, appreciate Cade Cunningham and, acknowledge his greatness, and his future greatness as well, I believe. Frank Jackson earning a starting spot. Diallo, he got the starting spot tonight, so we'll see what happens in the next game. Killian is too French. See, I said it. Bay on a tough stretch, however, wouldn't say he's regressing. Excuse me. Just got to find his balance of how to insert his new tools. He's overthinking. Last year, he was more poised and took his time. Yeah, coming into this season, Sadiq Bey, he added a lot of tricks to his bag, if you will. He added a lot of spin moves, a lot of dribble moves. He added a whole lot to his game. And early on in the season, I was praising him for that. But now it's starting to kind of look like that's kind of, playing to his detriment, because it feels like at times he just tries to do a little too much out there. I feel like Bey wants to be Jason Tatum so bad. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he wants to be like Jason Tatum, but I get what you're saying. And, I feel like Sadiq Bey, he just needs to get back to the basics, man. Excuse me. get back to the basics of basketball. He was originally thought to be just a 3-and-D type of player, and I'm not saying that that's what he needs to be on the Pistons, but he just needs to get back to the basics and the fundamentals of basketball and does what he does well. Hit his three-pointers, get inside, and make layups, man. Tonight, it was so frustrating to see him, have so many wide-open layups where he would get a rebound and put it back up and just miss, man. He just needs to get back to the fundamentals of basketball. I like Hayes. However, it's time to be honest and realistic. He is at best a role player, and that's all. Cade is a natural point guard and a star and should not be sharing the position with a role player. Y'all kill me sometimes with this Killian talk, man. I disagree with you. I don't believe that Killian Hayes is just going to be a role player. I feel like him and Cade should be together, and he's going to be Cade Cunningham's running mate in the future. So we can agree to disagree on Killian Hayes, but I kind of find it funny sometimes how extra and hard y'all want to go on him when he's so young and all the injuries that he's had so far. It's just kind of interesting to see how hard sometimes people go against Killian Hayes. Banchero to the Pistons. Paolo, he's my number one guy on the draft board right now. I got to continue to monitor his whole weight loss situation because apparently he sweats like 7 pounds every single game. So I got to continue to, monitor that. But Paulo, he's my number one guy right now. Saban Lee needs to start instead of Killian is athleticism with Cade IQ it. Okay. Will be good for the team. It's one game for Saban, so can't say start him over Killian. I mean, it's some people kind of forget, what Saban Lee has done in other games so far this season. If you go back and if you look at his other games, what's his name? Saban Lee, he hasn't played the greatest, in other games. And tonight was the best game he's had so far this season. So I'm not going to go after him. He played really, really well tonight. But, do keep in mind that it's one game and he has to, if you want to make him a starter, he has to be more consistent with it. Let me see. It's just a rough season. I mean, we usually have 3 second-year players and a rookie in the starting lineup, so we just have to limit our expectations for the season. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon for us. Yeah. Coming into the season, I couldn't have predicted all of the injuries to happen. I couldn't have predicted Sadiq Bey to head into the craziest sophomore slump I ever seen before. Coming into the season, I said at best we would be like at 35 wins, probably like a 10th seed. Like that's where I thought we were end up being at. But I could not foresee all the injuries. I could not foresee the slumps, the shooting woes out of everything, out of all of our players. So, and also Dwayne Casey, I didn't, account that into my brain that he would do this to, Killian Hayes. So, my expectations, I wouldn't say that they were high. I would say that they were about average. And, it's obviously been a disappointing season, but, overall, I'm still rocking with this team. I still believe in us. At least Saban Lee can give you some points. We will get better in due time. Yeah, it's going to take time, man. It is. I like Grant, but it seems like it flows better without him. Absolutely, man. I love Grant as well, but just the overall flow of the offense, ball movement, it's just better without him, man. It's just so many isolation plays when he's in the game. Can Stewart be good? Yeah, Isaiah Stewart can be good. He just needs another big man to, help him. Killian Hayes and Cade Cunningham, those two guys together, they're going to be good. But Isaiah Stewart, he doesn't have a Killian Hayes for him right now. He's just down there in the post by himself. His help is Trey Lyles, which is not help because Lyles is like a power forward. So, as soon as Isaiah Stewart gets a center, a true big to help him out down there and, protect the rim, get rebounds and go against guys like LaMarcus Aldridge, excuse me. As soon as he gets that guy to help him out, he will become really, really good, I believe. A starting caliber center. I mean, he's starting right now, but I mean, by the masses would consider him a starting caliber center. Quite honestly, Diallo should be starting next to Cunningham. Also, I firmly believe Killian starting is to mask the fact that Troy Weaver got it wrong with picking him at 7. Well, Diallo, he did get the start tonight, actually. It was Killian Hayes at the point. It was Cade at the shooting guard position. It was Diallo at the 3. At the 4, who was it? It was Sadiq Bey. And then at the 5, it was Isaiah Stewart. So he did get Hamidou Diallo. He did get the start tonight, my man. But as far as what you just said, Weaver, he didn't get it wrong. Weaver knew what he was getting when he got Killian Hayes. He knew that this would be a project and that it would take a while for him to get better. Why doesn't KC run Isaiah Stewart in a pick and pop? He can shoot from mid-range very well. He has more to his game, man. Respect. Whoa, I kind of disagree with you, man. Isaiah Stewart, like sometimes it looks like he's comfortable out there with shooting the mid-range shot, but tonight was one of those nights where his mid-range shot wasn't falling. And overall, you just can't really run a pick and pop with Isaiah Stewart effectively. Like, you can try it out here and there, and it may work on a few plays, but overall, I don't think that it can really be effective because you aren't really threatened by Isaiah Stewart. Like, he's not really a lob threat. His mid-range shot isn't the greatest, and he can't hit a three-pointer. So if you try to fade him to the three-point line, if you try to do an alley-oop play with him in the pick and roll, it just really won't work because nobody's really scared of Isaiah Stewart offensive game overall. So I kind of disagree with you, my man. I don't really think that you can run the pick and pop with him effectively. Where was all that patience with Sekou? I mean, I had patience with Sekou. If you guys remember, I wanted to give Sekou another year on the Pistons. And, when he was gone, I was like, it is what it is because, he was gone. There's nothing I can do to change that. But I wanted to see at least one more year out of Sekou Doumbouya. And, he's gone now. Yeah, because all they say is Killian is a good playmaker and defender. You could throw in a rebounder as well. Killian only averaged 3 assists, and his defense isn't good enough for him to be. It's okay. So, as I said, playmaker, defender, you can throw in rebounding as well. The only averaging 3 assist thing, you can't really throw that on him because there are many, many times where he passes a player the ball and they won't make their shots, okay? There were so many times tonight where Sadiq Bey will get the ball and just miss it, okay? And overall this season, we know how bad the Pistons have been from shooting from the three-point line. So his assist total would be much higher if guys could consistently knock down their shots. And then you say his defense isn't good enough for him to be in the NBA. What are you talking about? Killian Hayes, if anything, is one of the best defensive point guards in the well, not now, but he's very, very close to getting to that level where I would consider him one of the best defensive point guards in the league. I bet the fans who thinks Killian is a bust also thought Giannis was a bust year 2. Exactly, man. Exactly. Lonzo Ball, Trae Young in his first half before the All-Star break in his rookie year. Fire KC ASAP. We talked about that yesterday a lot in my live stream. As much as we want to throw out, the criticisms for Dwayne Casey, he's not going to get fired, man. It's just not going to happen. As much as, some fans will want it. Devontae Tate, you want him to get fired. It's not going to happen. At least not this season. Once he start locking up the opposing team's best player, we can give Killian rotation minutes. But right now, he's not good enough to be in the NBA. Okay. Casey sticks with certain players / lineups way too long where he should only use them in spurts. Exactly, man. Dwayne Casey, that's one of the biggest problems for him is that he just doesn't make enough adjustments during the game because it feels like sometimes he comes into the game with a set game plan and he doesn't really want to change that. Like, for example, Corey Joseph, he'll come into the game saying, Corey Joseph, you'll get X amount of minutes. Or he'll be like, Jeremy Grant, you will touch the ball this amount of times. You'll put up this amount of shots. It feels like Casey, he comes to the game with a set game plan and doesn't really make adjustments to that. So I completely agree with you. He needs to use, certain rotation, certain players, and spur in the moment decisions. I mean, spur the moment moments. My bad. Killian may turn superstar, but what good is a superstar always injured? He'll be another John Wall. Well, I'm not saying that he's going to be a superstar, okay? Don't get me wrong. When I defend Killian Hayes, I defend him believing he's going to be like a Lonzo Ball or DeJounte Murray type. I'm not saying that he's going to be a superstar. I'm not saying that he's going to be an all-star. I just think he's going to be a really, really solid starter for us. So, yeah, but I get what you're saying or what you were trying to say with the whole John Wall thing. And speaking of John Wall, it's just kind of sad to see, what's happened to him in his career. Excuse me. Because in his younger years, John Wall, making the playoffs consistently, with Bradley Beal, it's just been a shame to see what's happened to John Wall. But he sat Cade Cunningham way too long during the third quarter, talking about Dwayne Casey. Nobody ever said he was a bust. He just isn't good enough to be in the NBA yet. he needs to be in the G League. I mean, a lot of people so far in this live stream, they've called Killian a bust. Dave Bing is a clown. I mean, I'm not gonna say he's a clown. I do respect him. He's a Pistons legend, but what he said tonight, if you guys didn't see, Dave Bing, he said that Cade Cunningham will be an all-star, and then he said he's not the player that you build around. And then he also said that the Pistons need another true point guard because we don't really have that right now, which is, I basically disagree with every single point that he made because Cade Cunningham, he's the perfect player that you need to build around. Point guard, we have Cade who can play the point guard position, or Killian Hayes who can play the point guard position, and then saying that he's going to be an all-star. I can agree there, but I'd go a step further and say all NBA eventually. Casey, a trash coach, he needs to go. Agree. Too many guys driving to the lane without enough daylight to finish, bail out, leave their feet, and launch a pass while they are in the air down the baseline. Teams are king on these passes. Yeah, man. Just I don't know how many we had to end the game, but as a team, just turning the ball over consistently, man. Like, how do you consistently turn the ball over? It makes no sense to me, man. Especially in that fourth quarter, it was just killer for us, bro. And let me pull up the stats again, Ashley. Can I see how many turnovers we had as a team? No, I can't see it from here. Well, Ashley, can I? As a team, 19 turn. I mean, the Nets had 17. They weren't taking care of the basketball either. But, I mean, look at that. 19 turnovers as a team. 37% shooting. Yeah, it was it was one of those nights for the Pistons, man. What stat potential do you see? Stat potential. Okay. If we're talking about at his best, I mean, let me look up Lonzo Ball. All right. Screen pop up. Okay. Lonzo Ball stats. Let's see what he's averaging right now. So Lonzo Ball right now is averaging 12. All right, he's averaging 12 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, basically. So if Lonzo Ball is averaging that on a pretty good team with the Chicago Bulls, if Killian Hayes can do that, I'd be oh shoot, y'all. I'm sorry, y'all couldn't see my screen. But yeah, here we go. He's averaging 12, basically 13 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. That's the stat line for Lonzo Ball. So if he can average that, then I would want Killian Hayes to get somewhere around there. If the Pistons, ever turn into a team like the Bulls, who are really, really good right now. When has Hayes ever shown you flashes of being more than a role player in the future? Stop having unrealistic expectations. He is not going to be a star, maybe a backup at best. I never said that. Well, I think I have said in the past that he was going to be a star, so maybe I'm a bit off there. But at the moment, currently, I believe that Killian Hayes is going to be a really, really good player, a Lonzo Ball, DeJounte Murray type. Everything King. Shouts out to Everything King, man. Probably the best overall, Detroit sports YouTuber. He makes Pistons videos, Lions videos. So if any University of Michigan videos as well. So if anybody, looking for another Pistons content creator out there, another sports content creator, go subscribe to Everything King. He's a real one. He's a really good dude as well. Don, you're tripping. Killian, a great defender and makes great passes all the time. Got a steal on KD during an ISO. The assists aren't there because nobody can make shots. Absolutely, man. Jonathan Peterprin, if that's how I pronounce your name. I completely agree with you, man. And thank you for mentioning that play where he, stole the ball away from Kevin Durant. When I put out my review video tomorrow, I'm going to make that. That's going to be a major point of mine in that video. One of the biggest problems is Beef Stew is undersized and should be benched for Luka. What? And wait, hold on. One of the biggest problems is Beef Stewart is undersized and should be benched for Luka Garza until we get Olynyk back healthy. Okay, you lost me, man. I love Luka Garza. I think we should take away from Trey Lyles minutes and give minutes to him. But starting Luka Garza over Isaiah Stewart, that's a no-go for me, man. Excuse me. Seemingly hasn't gotten a chance to show you his consistency because Casey giving a role player his minutes. You just call Killian Hayes a role player. Every time Saban gets a lot of minutes, he shows out. Can't say the same for Hayes. Okay, buddy. What's up, King? Yeah, again, everybody go show, love and respect to Everything King. One of the best to do it. Couldn't believe that when Dave Bing was interviewed during the game, he said that Cade isn't a guy to build around. Was he junk or is he that old age? I mean, I don't know, man. It's because I know a lot of old people. Like I'm around them quite frequently, because of my grandparents and their friends that come to their house. And they're not like old people just because they're old. It's not like they're senile. Like not all old people are senile or they're not experiencing dementia or anything like that. I know a lot of old people who are very, very intelligent and are aware of the things that's going on. So, Dave Bing, I don't really have an explanation for that. It's just a man with his opinion, I guess. That's all I can say. Killian's a good impact player, not a star, but a good player, and he's getting better every game. Even signs of a good 3-point shot. Give him time. He's basically still a rookie, yeah. And totality of his career. Let's actually pull that up. Let me put this on the screen for y'all again. Killian Hayes. There he goes. Oops, my bad. Killian Hayes stats. All right, let's see. How many games has he played so far in the totality of you? Only 46 games, man. Like, come on now, man. Y'all are killing him. And he's only played 46 games so far in his entire career. And he had possibly another injury tonight, which may keep him out more games. So it is what it is with y'all. We can agree to disagree, I guess, with Killian Hayes. Hayes is a few finishing badges. The police are in my home site now. Hayes is a few finishing badges away from being an elite slasher. We just don't have the right pieces around Killian and Cade, in my opinion. It's funny that you made the 2K reference, but yeah, I can't expect, this offseason with Blake Griffin's money being freed up and then with the top pick and possible trades with maybe Frank Jackson or Corey Joseph or Trey. Oh, dang. We can't trade them because they're on 1-year deals right now, but maybe they do that at the deadline. I don't know, but in general, I do expect this team to get better at the end of this season, and that will really help out Killian Hayes and Cade Cunningham. I like Saban Lee, though. Can't lie, he should be on the team for sure. Oh, yeah, I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that Killian Hayes should be the starter. Saban Lee should definitely be on the team. He should be ahead of Corey Joseph, and he should be given minutes, quality minutes at that. But saying that he should be above Killian Hayes, that's kind of a stretch in my opinion. Dave Bing was having a senior moment. I mean, as I said, old people, not all old people are, senile. Some of them are very, very intelligent. So with Dave Bing, it's just him with his, outlandish opinion, I guess. And I'll do a full video, talking about that tomorrow. What do you think is holding Killian Hayes back? His offensive game right now. He just doesn't have the consistent areas to his game. His floaters, his layups, 3-pointers. Well, he's starting to develop his 3-point game, so that is good for him. But just overall, he doesn't have it. And then confidence. That's something that he's lacking right now. Cade Cunningham, it doesn't matter if he misses 10 straight shots. He'll go out there and continue to shoot. But someone like Killian Hayes, as soon as he starts missing his first, couple of shots, he just doesn't attempt many more after that. And he just goes into the mode where he constantly, passes the ball. So, Killian right now, I feel like the main thing that's holding him back is just confidence and just not having offensive consistency. Sadiq is not that athletic, and it hurts his finishing around the basket. That's true. He needs to get back to catch and shoot first, then go to his off the dribble / mid-range game. Yep, get back to the basics, man. That's what Sadiq Bey needs to do. He needs to get back to the basics. Diallo is the only complementary piece next to Killian and Cade. I mean, I get what you're saying. Let me pull the what's called the roster. I mean, not the roster, the stats back up. Pistons versus Nets. Well, I guess the stats are not coming back up. Oh yes, they are, I guess. Okay. But yeah. Dang it, I pulled up an article. What the heck? Let me get that off y'all's screen. But I would say Frank Jackson you could kind of throw in there as well. Tonight, Frank Jackson, and in these past few games, coming off the bench, he has been a really, really big asset to us. So as far as helping out Cade and Killian, Frank Jackson, he's been helping take the load off of those guys. I want to see Grant be more impactful on the defensive like he was before. He seems locked in on the offense and on the offensive end, but not as locked in on the D. Yeah, I can agree with you. If you look back in his previous years, back when he was on a team like the OKC Thunder, or if you look at the Denver Nuggets, he was typically a guy known as a 3-and-D type of player before he came to Detroit and really, expanded his game. So, Grant, it's kind of crazy to see, the difference between him a few years ago when he was a defensive focused guy to him now being a offensive focused guy. And now let me pull back up these stats. Pistons versus Nets. 4-22. 4-22. Dang, my screen just froze. That's crazy. Okay, here we go. Can we trade Grant and get James Wiseman and Moses Moody from Golden State? I mean, that's interesting. First off, I don't know if the money matches because they paying Draymond Green, they're paying what's his name, Klay Thompson, and they're paying Stephen Curry, obviously. So I don't really know if the money matches up with the Golden State Warriors, but maybe I can look into that and possibly do a video on that. Lee definitely a solid backup PG, can make up for Killian lack of scoring if it doesn't improve. Yeah, man. Saban Lee coming off the bench, being the backup point guard to Killian Hayes. That's what he should be. I don't know why people are coming in here and trying to say that he should be the starting point guard ahead of him. Sekou would be a great fit with Cade and Killian. Yeah, I could agree with that. I feel like Sekou, if he would have properly, developed right with the Pistons, he could have been really, really solid for us. But unfortunately, it didn't really, work out for him in Detroit. And that's partly due to Dwayne Casey really not believing in him. He gave the treatment that he gave Hamidou Diallo is the treatment that he gave Dwayne Casey. I mean, not Dwayne Casey. The treatment that he gave Hamidou Diallo is the same treatment that he gave Sekou Doumbouya. That's what I was trying to say. KD, best player in the world. Yeah. I mean, some people, we can try to that debate. I mean, some people would still say LeBron. Some people would say Giannis. But you can make the argument for KD, so I'm not going to fight you on that if you're a Nets fan. Nobody want to hear the Bull isn't good. Playmakers supposed to make the team better. Killian is making the team better. KC has to go ASAP. Rodney McGruder taking young guys minutes. This dude is definitely tanking Joe. Yeah, I can agree with that. Typically on most nights I would be upset, but tonight it worked out in the Pistons' favor because, McGruder, he came into the game and he got a few rebounds and he made a few layups. So I'm not going to go too hard on, McGruder getting into the game. Typically I would be angry. Typically I would be like, why didn't Pickett get in tonight? But overall, I'm not going to go too hard on Casey, at least not for that reason. I didn't mean it like Killian is a bad defender, but if he is not locking up the opposing team best player, he is a negative on the court. I mean, nobody's really locking up a team's best player. Like, if you think about Kevin Durant, for example, tonight when we played the Brooklyn Nets, no one in the league can lock him up. The Lakers with LeBron, Steph Curry with the Warriors, like, you're never going to lock up a best player. You can only hope for to slow them down. So with Killian Hayes, all I can hope for is that, if we play a team like the Warriors or we play the Bulls really, really soon, I hope he can slow down someone like Zach LaVine or Alonzo Ball. Wiseman would be a great fit for us. I mean, he would be a big man, definitely. He would replace Trey Lyles at the center position. Let me see. When Stu and Killian starting, Pistons actually playing 3-on-5. Stu doesn't look to score, and Killian is not a threat for him. From as teams just give him open threes, that hurts Pistons' offensive flow. Yeah, I can agree with basically everything that you said, and then you also got to throw in there, when Grant was playing with us, he slowed down the offense as well. A lot of isolation plays out of him. So, with all those guys on the court with each other, well, Grant's not here now, but when he was playing, it was really, really, the offensive flow was really, really bad. But tonight it looked a lot better, man. It really, really did. And I just hope that Killian can eventually develop the offensive consistency to really help out, Cade Cunningham. But even if he doesn't, with Saban Lee coming off the bench and getting how many points did he have tonight? Let me pull the stats back up. Saban had, where is it at? Saban Lee. Oh, I guess this is what the heck? Where's Saban Lee? There you go. 17 points. Okay, so if Saban Lee could come in, chip in like 17, 16 points and, help out and make up for what Killian doesn't do offensively, I'd be happy with that. He doesn't run plays for Killian and or Cunningham, looking like one-on-one basketball to me. Wait, hold up. He doesn't run plays for Killian. Cunningham looking like one-on-one. Cade Cunningham doesn't really play. I mean, he does play one-on-one, but it's not really like isolation type like Jeremy Grant, if that's what you were trying to say. Cade has so many turnovers. He almost got a double-double with turnovers. He passes too much. I hate that. Yeah, that's been a problem for him his entire career, just taking care of the basketball. In college, he struggled with that. And so far in the NBA, that's been a problem for him. Heck, even back in his high school days, they said that was an issue for him, and his shooting was an issue for him as well in high school. But yeah, just he has to learn how to take care of the basketball, and he will get that as he gets older in the NBA. He's still really, really young right now, a rookie in the league. So, I just hope that in the future he can get that under control. You don't want to be like James Harden and, be 10, 13, however many years James Harden has been playing basketball in the NBA. You don't want to be like him, a guy who can't take care of the basketball as a veteran. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. Yeah, I can agree with you there. I'm not a LeBron guy. Starting five should be point guard Cade, shooting guard Diallo, Bay, Stewart, and Olynyk. Well, Kelly Olynyk, he's injured right now. And then also you got to put Killian Hayes in there as well and put Diallo. I mean, not Diallo, but you got to replace Olynyk and put Killian in there. And that's basically what the starting lineup was for tonight. How many minutes did Blake get? Blake Griffin. He didn't get in much tonight. Blake, where are you at? 9 minutes, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 point. I mean, damn, and do I feel bad for Blake Griffin? No, I don't feel bad for Blake Griffin. I mean, screw him, bro. He kind of gave up on the Pistons, so screw Blake Griffin, man. Ventura is definitely the guy I want the Pistons to land in the draft this offseason, but if we can get someone like Holmgren, Jabari Smith, Jalen, or even Patrick could be a good addition for us. Yeah, I mean, any of these top picks in the draft, if we get in the top 5, we're basically set. I mean, you look at this recent draft, look at the top 5. I mean, you have Cade Cunningham, you have Jalen Green, you have Evan Mobley, you got Scotty Barnes. I mean, in this previous draft, top 5, you're looking good. I mean, heck, even top 7, most of the guys taken in this draft have impressed me overall. So, with next year's draft coming up as well, I'm going to be expecting a lot of top players to be possibly coming to the Pistons and have the ability to add a lot to this team. The Pistons look much better offensively today with today's use of playmakers like Cade, Diallo, Lee, Frank Jackson, and others, but obviously missed Grant. Excuse me. Well, I agree with what you said, but missing Grant tonight, I feel like is the reason why we saw Frank Jackson play really, really well, or Saban Lee play really, really well. Without Grant on the floor, the offense, the ball movement, everybody was passing it around, and it opened up opportunities for a Saban Lee or a Frank Jackson. So I kind of disagree with what you said at the very, very end, but overall, I get what you were trying to say. You guys are still being impatient when some of our players are injured. I mean, yeah, Kelly Olynyk is gone. Grant is obviously gone now. Killian Hayes, we got to see what type of update we get with this injury with his hand. Stu needs to work on his post moves and jumpers from within 15 feet. Yeah, he really, really does, man. His offensive game is just not there right now. Need a 2 who can switch and create his own shot, a rim protector who can catch and shoot and run, and a microwave type bench player in 2 years. Well, in 2 years, we should have all of that from now. I mean, by then. Excuse me. Heck nah. Beef stew 4, Garza 5, and Grant being out. If y'all talking about the starting lineup, no. Luka Garza, he's not ready to be there, man. K is an absolute stud and has proven why he was the first pick. I really just hope we can land Paolo Ventura. If we get Paolo, man, that's going to be like the perfect piece to add to this team. Like, if we get him and if we sign someone major and free agency, it's going to be good, man. It's really, really going to be good. What's good? What's up, my guy? I mean, not my guy. My girl, Shania. Let me see. First of all, you tripping. Killian doing better than Saban Lee has in the NBA. You tripping. Who's done better so far in the NBA? It's kind of it's crazy how y'all keep going after Killian Hayes, man. It's wild to me, bro. I mean, I understand where y'all are coming from, but the way that we think about Killian Hayes, like it's like 50-50. Half of the fan base over here is thinking that he's a bust, that he should be sent to the G League or trade him. And then half of the other fan base, like me, believes that we should be patient with him and continue to, just watch him play basketball. So it's really, really crazy to hear the contrast between someone like you, Devin, and someone like me, Joe Polo 10, you know what I'm saying? I'm keeping Frank Jackson, Diallo, Cunningham, Hayes, Bay, Stewart, and Saban Lee, and everyone else up for grabs. I'm building around them as my young core players on the team. Yeah, I'm not giving up on this core, man. That's why, with the whole Miles Turner situation, no matter how many deals I see, I was like, no, I'm not about to give up Sadiq Bey. I'm not about to give up Isaiah Stewart right now, and picks as well. I don't want to give those up. And then also in the whole Ben Simmons deal, I didn't want to give up those guys as well. Now, as far as Frank Jackson and Diallo goes, as much as we like them, I do believe that those two guys will be the ones to be put in that type of deal. Joe, Killian Hayes is probably the worst player in his draft class, especially the top 10 players. He's not the worst player in his draft class. Now, he may be the worst out of all the guys in the top 10, but actually, let me take a look at that. Killian Hayes, he was drafted 2020, right? Killian Hayes, 2020. Am I correct? 2020. Okay, let's take a look at that actually. 2020 NBA draft order. Let's take a look at that. Do I have it on my screen? No, I don't have it on my screen. Okay, let me put that up for you guys. Okay, so Anthony Edwards, he's better than Killian Hayes. James Wiseman, he's better. LaMelo better. Patrick Williams. Patrick Williams. Yeah, he struggled as well in his career, but I give that one to you. Isaac Okoro, Onyeka Okongwu, Obi Toppin. So out of all the guys in the top 10, I mean, Killian, I would feel like he's anywhere between like 7 and 10. I feel like, because Denny, he's had his all besides like James Wiseman. I mean, besides Anthony Edwards and LaMelo, like most of these guys, they've had success so far in their careers, but they've also had their fair share of struggles. So I would say he's anywhere between that 7 to 10 range in his in the top 10 of his class. Cade is becoming more efficient, especially being more selective with his 3-point attempts. I think his high turnover numbers come from indecision, speed of the game, and trying to make that perfect pass. Trying to make that perfect passes. Yeah, I can't agree with that. It's just, he's going to learn that it's some passes that you can't make at the NBA level, man. It's just, in the fast break, especially, he does this a lot, and half court offense as well. It's just he's going to learn that some plays you just can't make in the NBA. Saban Lee better statistically and with the eye test. Well, let's pull up some stats again. You may actually be right about that. He probably does have higher numbers than Killian Hayes, but Saban Lee stats. Let's see. He's averaging 5 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Okay. 5, 2, and 2. Killian Hayes. Oops. All right. Killian Hayes stats. 6. Well, actually, Killian Hayes does have higher stats, so you're actually kind of wrong there. But and then with the eye test as well, I would probably go with Killian as well. Saban Lee just needs a 3. I mean, he was hitting his 3-pointers tonight, and going to the G League, it really did help out his confidence when it comes to shooting the 3-point ball. But I do agree that he needs to improve that because his jumper is very, very funky. Like it feels like he has like an old school 1940s 3-point shot. It's just weird the way how he shoots it. So I can't agree with you there. Dave Bing used to be mayor, so he can't be seen now. Exactly, man. Like Dave Bing and old people in general, they're not all stupid. They're not like, I know, especially in the country right now, with the way how people view old people, like people don't really have respect for them. But me personally, with the way that I was raised, I have a great deal of respect for, the older generation. So, Dave Bing, I disagree with everything that he said, but he's just a man with his own opinion. Coaching, coach is failing the Pistons on the perimeter defensive game plan. Too many switches on leaving beef stew on islands with guards and small forwards, just not fair. Randy Ellison, I completely agree with everything that you just said, man. Casey, Yeah, another Coach Casey comment. It's a joke playing Magruder tonight when we made huge run at the end of the third quarter. Rotation is terrible. That's why Toronto fired him. Yeah, after winning Coach of the Year, they fired him. Anyone tripping about this season gotta go watch highlights of the top 5 prospects for next year: Banchero, Chet, Jabari, Ivy, and Duran. Yeah, didn't Ivy just? I forget who it was. Him and his I forget the other dude's name, but he just combined for 40 points with someone else on his team. So yeah, just go take a look at the upcoming draft class if you haven't already. It's a lot of good players coming out this year. Everyone's a negative on the plus minus right now, but Killian's plus minus with Cade is the best on the team. Really, -3 is better than -10, but we still losing every game, so it's gonna be negative no matter what. Yeah, that is true. Um, Dave Bing sound like a real K hater. I mean, it did kind of sound like he was speaking like Skip Bayless or Stephen A. Smith for a little minute. Confidence on offense. It all looks clean, but he can't hit and backs down. I don't think Killian is a bust, but I can understand the frustration by the fan base. Fans don't like players that don't want to slash or can't shoot. If he could score more, people would be happy. I know, especially with the modern game, and you always see these flashy players come out, and they usually have immediate success. You look at a Luka Doncic or a John Morant, and then you look at someone like Killian Hayes, and you want him to get to that level where he can just have flashy play after flashy play after flashy play. But for someone like me, I'm just patient with him. I'm going to continue to, just wait and see if he can develop into the player that I believe he can. We need a sharpshooter and a lob threat around Cade. Yeah, Cade and Killian. If they get a big man to help with the, pick and roll alley-oop situation, that would really benefit those guys. In the next year or two, Hayes will be a top guard in the NBA. I'm not saying he's going to be a top guard now. I'm not going that far. I just think he's going to be a really, really solid player, mentioned in the same light of someone like Lonzo Ball. I don't want to hear that he averaged 5 points and 3 assists. He has a negative plus minus. Well, my man just said everybody on the team got a negative plus minus. I watch him play. I just want to turn off my TV. He is not an NBA talent right now. I'm not the biggest Killian guy, but the verdict is still out on him. It's too early to write him with so few games under his belt. I would like a trade if a good one comes along, but not just cause. I kind of get what you're saying there. I do believe that the verdict is still out. It's still a wait and see type of thing with Killian Hayes. Like, I believe he's gonna get there, but it's still a wait and see type of thing with him. But you talking about him being in a trade, it's a no-go for me. Like, if any trade offer comes, I'm immediately hanging up the phone if they asking for Killian Hayes, especially if it's like a deal for someone like Ben Simmons and say, "Oh, Philadelphia, we want Killian Hayes." Nah, I'm hanging up the phone immediately. So. No, for me at least, I would not want to see him in any trade talks. K is good enough to be playing with vets. Building through the draft would take forever, and K won't be looking to stick around and wait for it to happen. Make good trades, or that man will walk. I kind of get what you're saying, but you got to think about how much money we have this free agency. Okay, Blake Griffin, how much was he owed this year? Like $38 million or something like that. Like, we're gonna have a lot of money to spend this offseason. So once we get that money to come off the books, we can have that and spend it on a top player in free agency. We can draft someone like Paolo Banchero or Chet in the draft, and coming into next season with adding a big piece in free agency and a top player in the draft, next year it's going to be looking pretty good. And then in the future, as these guys develop, if they get out of their sophomore slump, someone like Sadiq Bey, and if we get a big man with Isaiah Stewart, the future will be bright eventually. So I kind of get what you're trying to say, that if we don't win, K will walk. But at the same time, I believe we will get there eventually. I'm from Brooklyn, and we kill y'all tonight. Laugh a lot. I mean, y'all are Brooklyn Nets. We're the Detroit Pistons. Y'all are like the number 1 ranked team in the NBA right now. So I guess you can bask in beating the Pistons. that's really funny. Let me see. We should shorten our guard rotation to just 3. Cade, Killian, and Frank, and occasionally put Saban in. Yeah, and cut out Corey Joseph completely. KD, King of New York City. I hope y'all do Brooklyn trash if y'all don't. Coach Casey can't develop young players. Facts. He old school, bro. Yeah, I mean, coming into the season and not coming into the season, but when we hire him, he was known as the developmental type of coach because of what he did in Toronto. But so far with the Pistons, I mean, you look at Sekou Doumbouya, you look at what's going on with Saddiq Bey right now, how he's been treating Killian Hayes this season. It really makes you question, why he was ever given that title, developmental coach. Um, hmm. He's better than Saban Lee, and Saban Lee best player in the G League, bro. Yeah, Saban Lee, he is the best player in the G League. There's no denying that. But when I was talking about that, I was talking about generally guys who are down there, because Luka Garza, Saban Lee, and Isaiah Livers, they usually go from G League to called up to G League to call back up. So that's why I wasn't really mentioning them when I was talking about Jamarco Pickett being our best G League player. Hayes is the Pistons pit bull on defense. Yeah, he really, really is. Him and Cade Cunningham, those are the main guys out there who put in effort defensively and try their hardest. Let me see. Idea for a video: who should and could we resign with their cap space? I don't see many guys that I'd want. The ones that I would like, Miles Bridges or DeAndre Ayton, are restricted. I'll definitely do a video on that. I mean, I already did one on what's the dude's name? I forget the dude's name, but I got a video coming out really, really soon on Bo. Should the Pistons go after a guy like him? And I'm gonna be looking at other center targets this year. But we've been streaming now for an hour and 16 minutes, so Pistons took an L tonight. I appreciate everybody who came in and dropped love during the stream. Make sure you guys like this video before you leave. And that's basically everything, man. Go Pistons. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I got 2 videos dropping. I'll be dropping a game review and a video on what Dave being said. So that's basically everything. I love y'all. Thank you all for subscribing and liking my videos. And I'm out. Peace.